Gulf countries host obviously millions of Pakistani nationals. We have a huge diaspora in almost in every country. The biggest ones are in Saudi Arabia and in UAE. So, you are already aware that in the attack in Abu Dhabi, unfortunately, one of our Pakistani, national was also martyred in that attack. Our missions in the region remain fully engaged with the diaspora and remain in close contact with local authorities for facilitation and with our foreign office, constant reach out to our missions and through the missions to the diaspora. We have also, issued advisory giving detail of all the countries and the diaspora the way they should get in touch. The crisis management unit has been activated in the foreign office here, as well as our missions in the entire region. Pakistan have always supported a cessation of hostilities, upholding the international law and principles of the UN Charter, resumptions of diplomacy to find a peaceful and negotiated solution. I would like to briefly share with you that all the efforts to bring peace, in the Middle East, particularly in Gaza, Pakistan has been a contributor in all those efforts, starting from formally and I would say seriously starting from 24th of September last year on the sidelines of UNGA, where 5 Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Egypt, and Jordan, and 3 Islamic countries, Pakistan, Turkey, and Indonesia. We call it Group of 8 Arab Islamic countries. We had very meaningful engagement with President Trump on 24th of September. That was the only thing visible on the media. The rest of the efforts which followed that meeting obviously were off media. And that's which led ultimately, because it was decided that the 8 foreign ministers of the 8 countries who had dialogue on the sidelines of UNGA with President Trump and his team, and the agenda was only one, and that was bringing peace back to Gaza, settlement of the issue, and unhindered flow of human assistance, humanitarian aid, as well as the ceasefire immediate. Although we know that it led to Sharm el-Sheikh, the peace agreement signing, followed by in Davos, where the Board of Peace, signing took place, and now 19th of February, we had Board of Peace first inaugural meeting. So all these been attended by Prime Minister of Pakistan, and I accompanied him, and I think the things were showing very positive progress. We appreciate the efforts made by all concerned, particularly 7 other brotherly countries who have made equal effort with us to bring the Gaza issue to that point. I must also share with you that UK held, I think, very timely meeting in the UN Security Council. They had presidency this month, and I was invited by my counterpart, Excellency Ebert Coopers, to attend the UN Security Council meeting, which was the day prior to the Board of Peace meeting on 19th of February. It was 18th of February, and I especially flew from Austria to attend that meeting, in New York. And our statement was very, very clear. It is on record, and it is available on the website of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Pakistan. You can just go through and, frankly, we don't mince words. And we call spade a spade. And wherever, principal demands, we do act accordingly. We have excellent relationship. We have great relationship with China. We have very good relations with the current administration of the United States. We have great relations with all brotherly countries. But I think unless we all believe and act accordingly, that the international law and the UN Charter and the conventions are to be respected and followed, I think then there will be no peace any part of the world. Maybe this time this region. Earlier, I remember last year we had the presidency in July. We on purpose selected the theme for debate, which I chaired in UN Security Council meeting, was multilateralism, peaceful settlement of disputes. And I think UK also deserves compliments by picking the almost same subject on 18th of February, the peace process in the Middle East, including Palestine. So I think these efforts need to be complemented. We should all get strengthened. We should all get united. And I'm sure the sense will prevail, and these institutions can surely work very effectively. So these are few ideas I just wanted to very frankly, because these are the latest development. As I said, the original idea of the Afghanistan, because there were some queries. The spokesperson of Foreign Office has been keeping everybody updated on weekly briefing. But then, my team asked me that I should also brief and have a sitting with you on Afghanistan. So I think, having talked about the recent last 3-4 days developments, I would now bring you back to Afghanistan, because there have been a number of queries from different missions. So I think I want to clarify our position. We surely want good, friendly relations with all our neighborly countries. And you would recall that last year I made 3 trips to Afghanistan. After 4 years of gap, since the Taliban regime came in 25, I just had a visit of Kabul with very open heart and mind. I discussed with them their economic issues, trade issues, political issues, refugees issues, anything they wish to touch. We were very open. We debated, we discussed, we took decisions, and without losing any time, from their soil, I held a press conference which was viewed both, including Pakistan and Afghanistan. So we didn't stop there. We came back, and we implemented everything we decided and promised with our Afghan friends and with the regime. There had been 2 years earlier, during PDM government, 2022-2023, when I was finance minister, we had been working with them on a railway project, Uzbekistan, Pakistan connectivity through Afghanistan, through Karachi. Now that has been in cold storage. As a consequence of my visit of April, they finally agreed to sign the protocol agreement between 3 countries, which was signed in July. That was my second visit in July 2025. And, all the 3 foreign ministers were there. We had our transport or railway ministers with us, who signed that agreement, which obviously was the kick-off of this project for the connectivity of Pakistan to the Central Asia, and through Central Asia even to the Europe and China and other parts of the world. So that was a very positive move. That was followed by a trilateral meeting in August last year, where my great friend, Foreign Minister Wang Yi, myself, and Mr. Muttaqi held the meeting, trilateral meeting. We have a trilateral forum, China, Pakistan, Afghanistan. And that was again very positive meeting. We had all the best. By the way, in all these meetings, Pakistan ask has been only one from Afghanistan, not a long list of wish list. And that is, please do not allow your soil to be used for terrorism against any neighboring countries, particularly Pakistan. This is the only ask, right in April, July, and August. And unfortunately, that has not been complied with. I know they had issued religious fatwa, but we call it religious, obviously, decree. And there was about 1,000 scholars there. There was the Chief Justice of Afghanistan. There was the Prime Minister of Afghanistan. And they said, we will not allow soil the first time. This was just few months back. But there is no very verifiable actions which should have actually endorsed that fatwa is being implemented. And, the things have been going fairly hot, in the recent past. And, we also elevated our diplomatic relations following my 3 visits to the ambassadorial level, although the regime is not recognized. It was at the desire of our neighborly, friendly country. Signing of framework agreement, as I said, took place. Early harvest programs were agreed. These are few things I'm just recounting for your memory. Afghan origin, Afghan-bound trucks and containers to and from India, despite our war in May 2025, upon the request of Afghan side was facilitated. The decision of to extend CPAC to Afghanistan was agreed. This was during a trilateral meeting. Foreign Minister Wangi, myself, and to Kabul in August. Convening of Joint Coordination Committee meeting of the border security issues. That was also grant of 4,500 scholarships to Afghan students in various fields, including medicines, engineering, and social science under the Lama Iqbal Scholarships Program. Despite of humanitarian relief assistance following the earthquake in eastern Afghanistan on 31st of August, this was again, an action we took. We allowed a liberal visa regime enabling Afghans to visit Pakistan legally for education, health, business, and family links. I would also like to highlight that Pakistan has played a proactive role in all important regional and international forums on Afghanistan, such as Quad, replicate this group, Trilateral Foreign Ministers Dialogue, Moscow format, OIC contact group, SCO, and neighboring countries format. Now, all this we have been supporting. And as I said, what is our ask or demand? Only one. Please do not allow the TTP, the BLA, the Majid Brigade, which have been proscribed by many countries, that to allow them or to provide the facilitation. This is the only issue we have. And as long as it is handled, it is removed, we have no issue with Afghanistan. We always have been, wishing to have, best of the best relations with all the neighbors, including particularly Afghanistan. As part of these initiatives, Pakistan has consistently called for addressing Afghanistan's multifaceted challenges, in particular the humanitarian and economic situation in the country, which have a direct impact on Pakistan. So, with these background, unfortunately, in October, serious violations took place. Every week, our brave armed forces have to lift, the bodies of their soldiers and the officers, which is certainly not acceptable under any circumstances. We have the capacity, we have the will, we have, the kinetic capability to handle it in a very meaningful way. But we have been exercising extreme restraint and doing minimum reaction to what has been happening. What you have seen is absolutely, minimum in you can say, self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter, because we are the believer. And since we are sitting in the UN Security Council for a 2-year term as non-permanent member till 31st of December this year, so I think we exercise more care to respect the UN Charter and all these things. So unfortunately, Pakistan had, as a consequence of the repeated, by the way, you must recall also that after October, serious violations and attacks, there were rounds, our brotherly country, Qatar, they requested us to allow diplomatic engagement. We sent our team, our defense minister, with the team visited Qatar. There were dialogues, but the outcome was nothing, nil. Then it was followed by a dialogue in Istanbul. The outcome was nil. And then even Saudi Arabia. So we had now no choice but to launch